Everyone's talking about Squid Game, and going with the name, it seems like a fun, cheerful and entertaining show. Well, the show is definitely entertaining, but not really cheerful. The show does leave a deep impact in our mind and gives us thought-provoking nights. While everyone is going bonkers watching the show and have made it a hit on Netflix, there are some minute details which you might have missed. We don't want to give you any spoilers, so watch this if you already know the story. But before we get started, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Oh Il Nam. There were multiple clues throughout the shows to hint something is wrong with Oh Il Nam, but the majority of us missed it. There was a scene showing the mastermind enjoying the madness, but no one ever thought it would turn out to be the biggest twist of the show. Player 001, that is Oh Il Nam, was the one planning it all out, and while he did shock us all, we were the ones to not pay enough attention that the setup in the marble game looks so much similar to his childhood neighborhood when he takes Seong-gi-hun to the different lanes telling his story. Why didn't we doubt then? Also, he was very comfortable moving ahead in the red light green light when every other player was terrified. Well, that was also because the robotic doll did not use the red scanner on him, another hint that we missed. His name literally translates to the number one, and he knew so much on how to win Tug of War. In Tug of War, when he and his team members were exhausted after the game and lay down at the venue, we also failed to notice that his handcuffs did not have a lock. This meant that even if his team lost the game, he would have escaped the fall and survived. You might have noticed that in the records of all the players, the details of player 001 were missing, and the record book started from player 002. The last person to vote in the choice of whether the game should continue was also given to Oh Il Nam. As the tie-breaking vote, 001 let contestants leave and return willingly, which meant no one was forced to play. And returning to the game meant that everyone was now aware elimination meant death. Some theories also indicate Oh Il Nam and Seong-gi-hun friendship stems from familial ties. After all, we see Seong-gi-hun at home with his mother, but there's no mention of his father at all. There are clues woven throughout the narrative that the pair are related. A scene which saw Seong-gi-hun ask the unimpressed guests for chocolate milk, and Oh Il Nam chuckle that his son was similar. He also gave his 001 jacket to Seong-gi-hun in the marble game and told that he needed to wear it. This may be to protect Gi-hun from being shot. Oh Il Nam was shot off camera, and there was no sound of him hitting the ground after the headshot like everyone else had. Oh Il Nam was such an old man when all the other players were in the age group of 20 to 40. While everyone else was desperate for money, all we knew about Oh Il Nam was that he had a tumour with no mention of expenses or need of extra money. He even convinces Seong-gi-hun to re-enter the game. We should have really seen that coming. The games. We all were curious to know what the next game will be, and yes, the players too desperately wanted to know it. The show did tell us the list of games. The only thing was that we missed it, and so did the players. If the players would have paid a little more attention to the paintings of the room where bunker beds were laid, they would have gotten a lot of clues. The dormitory had illustrations for Red Light, Green Light, Tug of War, The Glass Bridge, and other games too. Cho Sang-woo even conducted multiple operations as a favour in order to know the next game and avoid getting eliminated. He could have used his intelligence with the paintings too. Deaths. Some of the characters' deaths in the show are replicas of the incidents that happened in their life after they voted to quit the game. For instance, Kang Se-byok's death by Cho Sang-woo is similar to her holding a knife to a man's throat and telling him she'll rip it. Jang Deok-soo had to jump off a bridge to save his life when he was surrounded by some gangsters. His death also happens by falling off the glass bridge. Ali stole money from a man and left him to die, and just like that, his marbles were taken away by Cho Sang-woo and he was left to die. At last, Cho Sang-woo's death too happens in a drenched suit, foreshadowing his fight with Seong-gi-hun in the rain. Coffin. While picking up a gift for his daughter, Seong-gi-hun chooses a box at the arcade. This looked very much similar to the coffins used for the dead players. To add to this, the box contained a realistic-looking gun, which was actually a lighter, that was also indicating the upcoming violence of the game. 456. Another minute detail that many of us failed to notice was the number assigned to Seong-gi-hun was 456, and he won 4.5 million at the racetrack, 4.5 and 6 zeros in a million. Maybe this amount too was a foreshadowing of his number in the game. Ants. This one was quite notable, but I seriously missed it. The guards, in their pink uniforms and black masks, looked all the same except that their masks had different shapes, particularly circles, squares and triangles. These symbols meant different responsibilities. Workers had circles on their masks, soldiers had triangles, and managers wore square signs. These signs and roles were similar to different roles played by the ants in an ant colony, and hence the dress with the mask fits the animal mask theme seen throughout the show. Staircase. The staircase used in the game, which the players use to ascend to the next game, looks very fascinating. But did you know these stairs look quite similar to lithograph prints by the Dutch artist MC Escher, showing a land in a world where normal laws of gravity do not apply. Going by the show's theme, the laws of the normal world also do not apply to the place where the games were being held. Yes, the show had very minute details carefully laid down. Jung Ho-yeon. Jung Ho-yeon, who played the character of Kang Se-byok, won everyone's heart by her performance. Given the fact that this was her first acting contract, her performance was quite impressive. However, she is a well-known fashion model in South Korea and was a runner-up in the 4th contest of Korea's Next Top Model. Jumpsuits. The jumpsuits worn by the players were inspired by school uniforms. The creator of the show initially wanted outfits similar to school uniforms, but was not sure if including skirts was a good option, so instead they went with tracksuits. The green colour was chosen as it'll highlight the red colour of the blood on the dress. Also, the bright pink colour is opposite to the green colour in the colour wheel, and hence to show that guards and players are on opposite sides. Opposite colours were finalised. There's also a scene in the show when it's revealed that the players of the game had selected the blue card when given a choice in the card game Duckji. Some theories suggest that selecting a red card would have meant being on the opposite side, that is, getting to wear a pink tracksuit and play as a guard. Manhwa. Squid Games is getting into an argument of having plagiarism and the show being a rip-off of the Japanese horror film As the Gods Will. The Japanese film follows a group of high schoolers who are forced to play various games that will kill them if they lose. Hwang Dong-hyuk began working on Squid Games back for quite a long time and has repeatedly denied Squid Game's plagiarism claims. He says he was inspired by manhwa, the Korean comics which he used to read as a child. Round 6. Of all the things we loved about Squid Games, one thing which he definitely adored was its cute, engaging title, that is, Squid Games. But before the name was finalised, the show was being called Round 6, in view of the 6 different games the contestants play. However, the boring name was eventually changed to the much more fun title it has now. VFX. There's no doubt that the show is aesthetically appealing. The sets are very stunning and pleasing to watch. The astonishing fact is that these sets were actually built and are not just the work of VFX. From the colourful stairs to the robotic girl, all actually built, which gave the actors a sense to fully immerse in the characters. The art teams are to think like designers who created games. For instance, the Tug of War set was really built way more than 10 meters above the ground, so some staff members felt quite afraid of heights. Script. Given the amount of detailing the show has, it's not surprising to learn that the storytelling took some time before completing the shoot. But the script has actually been on hold for a long time. Hwang Dong-hyuk completed writing the first draft of the show in 2009, but was continuously rejected by studios, investors and actors for 10 years. With his show ranked as Netflix's most watched and on track to become the best performing series ever on the streaming giant, it's hard to imagine a time when the show and its creator face so much struggle. Red light, green light. As mentioned before, very little VFX were used in the show, and not only were the sets real, but the amount of contestants who played the game for the red light, green light game were all actors too. A total of 456 people were casted for the shoot of the game, instead of just using VFX to digitally insert characters. Goofs. Finally, let us present to you some of the goofs that we noticed, and we aren't sure how much of them you were able to catch. To begin with, during the bridge game, we saw that the record of the glass factory worker read that he worked there from March 1897 to April 2020, making him over 100 years old. This must have been a typo. Another goof that we came across was regarding Gihon's birthday. He used his birthday, 0426, as the credit card pin for his mother's card, which he secretly took. A record in the game's file showed his birthday being on Halloween. Squid Games has been very widely viewed since its release over 22 countries and has also caused Korean media stock to go up by 50%. That's because it's really entertaining and a lot of minute details make it even more interesting. How many of these details did you notice? Let us know in the comments below.